Hey, in today's video, we will be updating you on the recent drama in the golf world. Tensions are high as the snubbed golf villain Patrick Reed fumes over a fresh slap in the face as an insulting feud escalates. We are going to summarize all that's happened and mention a few possible outcomes of this feud. Let's jump into it. First up, what has happened? Golfers and fans alike find themselves in a peculiar position. The player fans dislike the most in the last 5 years has been rather disrespectfully kicked out of the French Tour by the DP World Tour. Reed wasn't invited to the pre-tournament Pro-Am and wasn't at the press conference that had to happen before the tournament started. Patrick Reed has been a massive player for the DP World Tour for the last 5 years, winning the Masters twice in his career and being one of the most successful golfers despite being disliked by fans. Patrick was hidden in the pairings for the first round as well. Patrick Reed has responded to this decision by the DP World Tour and has said that he feels that not inviting him to the press conference and the Pro-Am is a slap in the face. He continued to say that he would keep working on his golf and that maybe he would even prove to be deserving of an invite next time. Up next, why did DP World Tour kick him out? When a decision this big is made in any sport, there are questions, and it is the duty of the body that made the decision to explain it to the viewers. We believe that the main reason is that Patrick Reed was one of the players who chose to go to the LIV Golf tournament. The LIV Golf Tour is a Saudi-backed tour that has burst onto the scene and has made it very difficult for other tours to be able to attract players. The $4 million prize pool this year, and possibly more next time, puts the other tours in a tough spot as the players who've played on the old tour for years are attracted to the huge prize. This time, many top-class golfers decided to switch to play for the Saudis, and Cameron Smith, who was one of them, won the $4 million. But his problems had just started. The PGA and the DP and the others realized that the only thing they had was that LIV did not have the ability to award world ranking points. This meant that no matter how many millions of dollars the Saudis could put on the table, players would have to stick with the traditional tours. That is, if they wished to be the best in the world. The major competitors now had something they could use. They decided to ban its players from playing on the LIV Golf Tour. That's perhaps where they went wrong. This ultimatum wasn't as one-sided as PGA may have initially thought. Some players began choosing money over world rankings, and soon many of the best players had changed over to the LIV side. Patrick Reed was one of the many who broke away and played on the LIV Golf Tour. But come October, the DP World Tour's French Tour came around, and that's when the drama started. Next, is jumping between tours not allowed? Is it illegal to switch tours during the course of a year? No, but the tours reserve the right to not send out invites to any player they want. These tours are individual bodies and are not governed by any rules. Since jumping between tours is not forbidden, Patrick Reed technically did nothing wrong. It seems he hit a soft spot when he went to play on a tour that was not officially recognized by the major competitions. The LIV Golf Tour does not have the authority to award world ranking points, meaning all the players that left solely for the prize money. This didn't go down well with the fans, who saw the players as wealth-oriented rather than having a passion for the sport. Players would often switch between the PGA World Tour and the DP World Tour, but since the stakes were pretty much the same, the two had become more of the same competition for the fans. The only difference was that there were two winners, and who doesn't like to see people celebrate winning twice? Although LIV Golf Tour has applied to be accepted as one of the big names and be granted the authority to award world ranking points, the other older big names would look on as a tour with more attractions is allowed to attract even more players. There is undoubtedly politics at play during these uncertain times, and no one knows how they will pan out. Cameron Smith has recently spoken about how LIV must be allowed to award points so players can have more chances of gaining points. Enjoying the video so far? Don't forget to subscribe, and we recommend you stick around until the end to find out more about the raging drama. And then, how did the other players react? The players who chose to stay loyal to the major tours would hope that the ones who switched sides would be banned from the event, and that the ones who switched would support Patrick and Cameron. But sadly for some, and fortunately for others, the tours can't ban a player from entering. Yes, that means Patrick Reed could potentially go on the tour and compete for world ranking points. But the disrespect he has endured would now make it quite tough for him to show up to the tour acting like he never took shots at the competition. Reed has told the press that he believed that there were no hard feelings among his colleagues for leaving the traditional tours for the Saudi-backed ones. But recent developments, however, would suggest otherwise. Big names, the likes of Rory McIlroy and Billy Horschel, have put out statements about the news. They believe that Reed and other LIV Golf members should stick with their decisions and continue to play in the LIV. They understandably feel that they should be rewarded for their loyalty, and we dare say that the tour would do the same. Patrick, on the other hand, is not one to back down from a fight, and he publicly lashed out as well, claiming that he had done more for the tour than Billy and had played as much, if not more, than Rory. He essentially told them to stay out of it and put an end to that problem. Or did he? Cameron Smith was one of the players who broke away from the traditional tours, and he stood out more than others because he actually ended up winning the LIV Golf Tour. He is currently ranked the third best player in the world, and he used the influence he had to put pressure on the traditional tours to allow LIV to be one of the tours that can award world ranking points. And finally, what are the possible outcomes? The more you think about it, the more one of the several options stands out as the best. We will mention the one we have in mind at the end. Let's get some of the others out of the way first. First, we need to understand the mindset of the fans. Believe it or not, what the fans want matters in every sport, and any government body must push to give the fans what they want. In this case, the fans want to be able to watch the highest quality of golf on all the tours there are. This can only happen if the best players play on the best tours. It is now essentially impossible to ignore the breakout tour anymore, but if the traditional tours can somehow find a way to make this event's hype die down, they can end many of the questions being asked. The players are allowed in, but as it stands, are not going to be participating since they are not welcome. If the LIV Golf Tour stops rising through the ranks for some reason, the runaway players would have no other option than to swallow their pride and play for the prize. This outcome would see the authorities having a bit too much power over the players. That is not what any fan would want. The fans want the players to be able to choose where they wish to play, with the tours being honored to be able to host such big names. But at the moment, tours seem to be rejecting very big names without much backlash. The worst option for the fans would be if Patrick swallows his pride and goes to play on the French tour. That would make the tours believe that they are in charge and would eventually end up with a lot more disrespect to players than there has been now. The best option would be for the tours to all get along and form a big world tour, literally. The PGA has the British Tour and others, while the DP Tour has the French Tour. If all these tours could be combined into a huge circuit that could be followed the whole year, fans would be able to watch the highest quality players play for longer periods of time. Well, that's about all we have for today. We hope you enjoyed our video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.